I should have known something was off the moment a stranger tried to arrest me for living in my own damn house. But hey, I've made worse real estate decisions before. Just never one that came with a free neighborhood villain. See, I never planned on buying a house in the mountains. I wasn't some rugged outdoorsman with a beard and a flannel collection. I was just tired. Tired of the city noise, the constant hum of traffic, neighbors policing the height of my grass like it was a federal offense. I wanted quiet, space, the kind of silence where you can hear your own thoughts without someone filing a complaint about it. Then I found the listing. One grainy photo looked like it had been taken on a flip phone in 2006, and a single-sentence abandoned property. Sold as is. That was it. No HOA info, no neighbor details, no cheerful agent telling me about charming potential. Just abandoned. Most people would have run. I leaned in. The house sat halfway up a forested ridge in Colorado. Tall pines everywhere. Gravel roads twisting like they were drawn by someone with a shaky hand. Not a resort town, not luxury. Just quiet, remote, forgotten. And the price suspiciously low. But I did my inspections. Paperwork went through smoother than it should have. Closing took barely any time. No phone calls, no warnings, just keys in my hand and a deed with my name on it. The first time I drove up there, snow was melting off the roof in slow drips. The driveway was cracked weeds pushing through like they'd claimed squatters' rights. The mailbox leaned sideways empty like it hadn't seen a letter in years. Inside smelled like dust and pine needles. No furniture, no signs of a rushed exit. Power worked. Water ran clear. Whoever owned it before hadn't fled. They had simply left. I spent the first 2 weeks cleaning, fixing broken window latches, replacing deck railings, hauling out trash. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. No neighbors dropped by with casseroles. No one asked who I was. Just wind through trees and the occasional distant crow. And then week 3. Tuesday morning, I was unloading lumber from my truck when I heard clapping behind me, slow, deliberate, sarcastic clapping. Not applause. More like, well, isn't this cute? I turned around and there she was. Short blonde hair, sunglasses perched on her nose like armor jacket, pressed like she was heading into a board meeting instead of standing in mud. Clipboard tucked under her arm. She looked like she'd taken a wrong turn out of a gated suburb and ended up in the mountains by mistake. "Excuse me," she said sharply. "What do you think you're doing?" I blinked. "Renovating my house." She laughed, sharp, humorless. "No," she said, "you're not." That's when the air shifted. She tapped her clipboard. "This property has been abandoned for years. HOA regulations state abandoned homes revert to community oversight." I stared at her. "I own this house. I bought it. I have the deed." Her smile disappeared like someone flipped a switch. "That's impossible," she snapped. "No one buys this property without HOA approval." "I was never told there was an HOA." She stepped closer, lowered her voice. "I am the HOA." That was the first chill. The kind that crawls up your spine when logic just stops working. I repeated myself. "Calm, paperwork, legal owner." She leaned in. "You may have paperwork," she said slowly, "but this house belongs to the community now." Then she turned and walked away like she'd just delivered a verdict. That evening, the sheriff showed up. Noise complaint. I hadn't even plugged in a saw. Next day, zoning violation. Day after, trespassing. Then illegal occupancy. Every complaint anonymous, every claim baseless. And every time deputies pulled up, she'd be standing across the road, arms crossed, smiling like she'd just ordered popcorn. Within a week, the deputies knew me by name. They were embarrassed, apologetic. One of them finally muttered, "She calls every day, sometimes twice." She told them I was squatting, said I threatened her, claimed the property was communal land. None of it was true, so I installed cameras. That's when she escalated. She started walking onto my porch, peering through windows, taping fake violation notices to my door printed on regular paper, no letterhead, nothing official. One afternoon, I checked my phone and saw her on camera trying to change my locks. Change my locks. I ran outside. She screamed like I'd attacked her. "You're stealing from us," she yelled. This house was meant to be torn down. And that's when it hit me. She actually believed this narrative. Or worse, she wanted the property gone. Mountain land prices had skyrocketed. What was once abandoned was now valuable. And she figured intimidation would make me leave. What she didn't count on, I don't scare easy. The real breaking point came during a snowstorm. Wind howling, visibility low, the kind of night you light a fire and stay inside. Then pounding at the door. Not knocking. Pounding. I opened it to find 3 deputies, hands near their holsters, faces serious. Behind them, her, crying. She told them I'd threatened her with a weapon, that I was unstable, dangerous, My stomach dropped because here's the thing. Once someone throws words like that around, it doesn't matter how innocent you are. It gets heavy fast. I raised my hands slowly and said, "Check the cameras." They stepped inside, watched the footage. Every lie unraveled in real time. Her face changed confidence, draining into panic. She started shouting, threatening lawsuits, screaming about community rights. Instead, they arrested her, trespassing, filing false police reports, harassment. And here's the twist: I didn't expect neighbors started coming forward. Turns out she'd done this before. Picked out properties she thought she could claim, intimidated owners, convinced people they didn't understand mountain regulations, forced quick sales under pressure. She wasn't the HOA. She was just a bully with a clipboard and too much free time. And once the illusion cracked, everything fell apart fast. Charges stuck. Restraining order issued. And the real HOA, which barely existed, quietly disbanded after realizing they'd let her act like self-appointed sheriff for years. Funny how courage spreads once someone finally stands up. Now, the house is quiet again. No flashing police lights. No fake violation slips. No sunglasses glinting from across the road. Just wind through pine trees. Snow melting off the roof in spring. The sound of gravel under my tires when I pull into my own driveway. And here's what I learned: the scariest part of buying a house isn't mold or cracked foundations or bad wiring. It's people. People who think proximity equals ownership. People who weaponize rules. People who rely on fear because it's cheaper than truth. For a minute there, I almost doubted myself. Almost thought maybe I'd missed some fine print. Almost wondered if peace was worth the fight. But here's the thing: when you give in to someone who lies loud enough, you teach them it works. And sometimes justice doesn't look like fireworks or courtroom drama. Sometimes it's quieter. It's a squad car pulling away with the right person in the back seat. It's neighbors finally speaking up. It's standing on your porch in fresh snow knowing you didn't back down. Karma doesn't always rush, but when it shows up, it tends to be thorough. The irony. The woman who claimed the house belonged to the community is now legally barred from stepping anywhere near it. Meanwhile, I sit on that repaired deck in the evenings, coffee in hand, watching the sun dip behind the ridge, and I think about how close I came to walking away. And I can't help but wonder, how many people lose what's rightfully theirs just because someone else says it confidently enough? Where's the line between enforcing rules and abusing power? And when does standing up for yourself become the only real option left? I'd love to hear what you think. Have you ever dealt with someone who tried to bully you out of what was yours? Did you fight back? Or walk away? Because out here in the mountains, I learned something simple but sharp. Silence is peaceful, but it's only yours if you're willing to defend it.